Good day to everyone, and welcome back to Getting to Know Maya. This would be lesson number 4, where we are going to build a simple 3D object by utilizing some of the tools and polygon primitives that we had learned previously. But before we can actually construct something, it is best to be aware of the shape that you want to use to create an object. For example, let's say if I were to create a simple table, for example, as you can see here, the shape itself looks like cube. Obviously, one cube, two rectangle cube. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's actually a combination of like 5 cubes. All right, one of them has to be the top, and then 4 legs to support the top of the upper cube itself to form the table. Secondly would be, let's say, for example, a chair. Same approach also as well. Compared to the table, it consists of like several cubes. All right. So as I mentioned before, for polygon primitives, they are basically used as the basic foundation to build a model. Okay. Sphere may have different purposes, but let's say if you want to build different kind of legs for your table or chairs, if they have the cylinder legs themselves, so might as well use cylinder. All right, you have to relate closely of the shape of your object or reference closely to the polygon primitive. All right, to what type of polygon primitive which are suitable for that particular shape. Okay, so in this is more towards observation. You gotta see the shape itself, you gotta see the table, how it looks like, you gotta see how a monitor looks like, how a cupboard looks like, or drawer looks like, for example. Okay, this is more towards item which is not organic, non-organic item. For organic item, the approach would be a little bit different. That would be under advanced modeling or maybe simple modeling as well. Okay, so let's begin with some of the standard procedure to build a 3D model. Basically, we are going to use some of the tools here. For example, the translate or move tool, and then we are just going to use some polygon cube to form the model itself. Okay, as you can see, as I mentioned before, reference can be the key. So feel free to actually look through your reference. If you see the real item, get a feel how it looks like. You need to translate what you see into 3D. Okay, so let's start. Okay, from what we can see, okay, let's build a simple table, for example. Okay, so as what we can see previously just now, all right, something like this. So we need some around 5 cube. All right, so we can hold down shift, create a cube itself. All right, and in another thing in Maya, right, whenever you create an object, it is best to centralize the cube or any of your item into the center grid. Okay, so as you may remember, I press space bar to invoke the 4-panel view. Top view, I want to place my cube right smack at the center here. So how you can do so? You can move your Z value and your X value as well. I mean, but over here is not accurate. So you have a few ways how to position this at the point of origin. Either we set our translate X, Y, Z to 0, or let's say I move this around. You hold down X, and the manipulator itself becomes some sort of like a circle like this. This is actually snap to grid. Okay, as you can see, right? You can see it's snapping onto the grid itself. All right, and there you go. Centralized already at 0.000. Okay, so few ways how you want to decrease the height of the cube. Either you use your scale tool, or you can actually use vertex. You want to manipulate one of the 3 components that we previously covered: vertex, edge, or face. All right, so either way works fine. All right, either way works fine. Oh, and that's another thing just now. If you made a mistake in let's say you want to go back to your previous step, you press Ctrl Z to undo. All right, you press Ctrl Z to undo. All right, okay, so over here you have a few ways to mold your model. For my case, maybe I just resize it accordingly. Let's bring this one up a little bit to the top here. Okay, So now we have the top of the table right now, and it's time to create the leg. So I'll create another polygon. Maybe I'll create on top view. Okay, you can actually create the polygon tool in any view, all right, either in perspective, top, front, or side. So maybe I'll create in the top view itself. Okay, maybe around here. Okay, hold down the shift, drag. Okay, and you can see that my item is centralized here, so ideally the leg can land around here on this grid. Okay, so 4 points, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But still we have one problem though, our leg is a little bit short. Okay, so as the same approach as you did for the top of the table, you can actually either you want to adjust the face, select the face, pull it up accordingly. Okay, now this is where either your front or side view comes in handy, where we can see exactly how we want to connect the faces onto the tabletop. Okay, so over here, as you can see, maybe it's a little bit too short. Maybe I can just adjust the text a little bit longer. Okay, maybe somewhere around here, and there you go. All right, so we have one leg and then the base. And previously I did mention about duplicate, right? Okay, so let's duplicate. Control D. You want to hold down the X button to snap onto the grid. All right, so now we have two legs, and then you want to duplicate again for the other two. So 1, 2. Let's go to top view. Duplicate. Hold down your X. Let's move the Z. And there you go. Just a simple table. All right, but if you want to add additional extra like the side of the table, like over here, you can do the same thing. Let's add another cube. All right, maybe I'll have it around here. Hold down my X, snap onto the grid, and maybe I'll scale. Hold down, just scale, make sure that it touches the other two, what do you call that, the two legs over here. Okay, and maybe I'll just push it up. Let's go to the front view, push it up accordingly. All right, let it snap below the base. And all right, maybe I'll just adjust the text a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. Okay, as you can see over here. All right, so anyway, you can duplicate one item to the other side, but the problem is, how about this area itself? Okay, you need to do a lot of adjustment, but few ways you can achieve that. Okay, let's duplicate to one side here. How would you want to bring this piece to over here, the duplicate copy? How would you want to bring? So you can choose to rotate accordingly and make sure that it's like 90 degrees. Press W to move to select the move tool again. Hold down X. There you go. There's a few ways how to achieve this, but maybe I'll talk about that some other time. This could be a much more advanced technique. Okay, as you can see here, with a combination of what I did just now and using a cube to create the model itself. I mean, let's imagine that you are the carpenter for the table. If you want to construct a table, what are the pieces you need to combine together to form the table itself? Same approach goes to the chair. If you want to construct the chair, you need to construct the base, you need to construct the upper seat, and you need to construct the legs. Okay, for cars, for complicated model, it will be the same as well, but that one maybe in the future. Okay, today is going to be something basic like this. All right, so I hope this is simple enough for your reference. Basically, it's just using one Polygon primitives and placing it all over the place. Not really all over the place, it's on the grid itself. Okay, just remember a few pointers that I mentioned. You just need to have a strong imagination. You just need to observe your items accordingly, what shape you represent the most. Okay, when it comes to advanced, I'll I'll emphasize more on what kind of, I mean, let's say they have one shape, right? Complicated shape, you can actually use cube or any other items to achieve your reference, for example. Okay, so I hope this is beneficial for everyone. Thank you and have a nice day.